Well, mm, next, country gardens. It's also not a very, it doesn't have many completed pictures because it feels a little bit repetitive. Well, it's flowers, gardens, but at least I tried to do some pictures with this night atmosphere, which always create good contrast to the flowers, especially when we have source of light also. One day I hope to do this beautiful cacti garden. I think that it's very lovely design. And another one which I love here, it's with dahlia. This book gives me also plenty of opportunities to practice how to color various green leaves and how to color terrace flowers. Sometimes it works better, sometimes they still look slightly childish. I especially struggle with her daffodils. That one I also colored for one of my birthdays. This one I think that I finished this spring. That's definitely one of the best works in this book. I love that it's vibrant, but at the same time everything looks harmonical. I love this composition, and it was quite fun to color basket. This picnic basket looks very stylish. Oh, that was a catastrophe. I don't even want to discuss it. I think that I used here polychromos pencils, maybe mixed with Prismacolors. Here I added some details from myself, playing with all those flowers, bushes, with maybe berries and vegetables. That's picture which I want to do because I really love how she depicts this variety of dahlias. Maybe this book is waiting until I find a perfect way to mask a majority of black lines, because of course such pictures they look much better if at least flowers and leaves they are not surrounded by very thick lines. Look at all those roses and all these thick lines. Definitely thing which I would prefer to avoid. Yeah, I guess that's all apart from this front page. For a long time, Country Charm was one of my favorites. And then abruptly I switched to other books, and since that time I hadn't returned to it. Strange thing, very strange. Actually, this one I did completely with Derwent Color Softs, yes. And of course, it was difficult to blend colors properly on the background, so maybe the wall looks slightly dirty, but I still tried to put shadows, to put highlights, so it's not bad, but I simply don't want to repeat this experience anymore. Well, that's also not one of my favorites. I think that what ruined it for me is those leaves. I dislike this type of leaves. She put it on many of her pictures, and I still didn't master how to color them so that they look more realistic and not very bold. I simply dislike them, sorry. And of course those chrysanthemums, they are out of place, too vibrant, and ruin the composition. This one is lovely. I think that I managed to show atmosphere of the rainy day with more grayish sky, and I do love how I did leaves on the tree. It's interesting to look at my older works. Something I did better, something now I do better, but for me it's kind of long journey, and I honestly love all of these books. For me it's actually a story of my coloring journey from the first works into the later ones, and many things I tried for the first time, like this how to color those rays of light, how to do trees highlighted from top, how to show better display of light and shadows. Again, all those green color combos, which colors you can use additionally to make your greenery more alive. Here I somehow colored water and I didn't suffer much, that it doesn't look very realistic. Recently I started to struggle with water. If you talk about this country charm, that's definitely one of my favorites. I absolutely love the fence behind and all those old collection of these old jars. I try to do them with different textures. We have some old china, we have some like maybe terracotta, the metal one slightly rusted behind, and of course I tried to calculate all the reflections. This vibrant orange color is reflecting in all the nearest surfaces, so it was challenging, but I think that now I am rewarded by this beautiful page. I still love it, and I love to color such watering cans. I have a soft spot for them. I think that I colored in it quite actively because it has pictures for several seasons. It also has a mix of landscape, gardens and kitchens, and then she published new books separately for kitchens, separately for gardens, and I started to color more in those books. That's the problem why I stopped to color in Country Charm. Now we have Wish You Were Here. When I received it, I had mixed feelings. Again, for me, it was a book with too thick lines, many objects where I just didn't know how to struggle with them. And surprisingly, it's the only book where I have abandoned work. This one. I didn't like how I started to color walls. I loved balconies. I wanted to support this, to create this idea of maybe Moroccan house where mostly buildings have very light, quite often cream color of the walls, and then turquoise, cobalt colors and wooden colors to decorate. I don't know what I thought when I selected this green color. I didn't like it how I started. I didn't know how to proceed to show properly shadows on the wall and in the same time not to darken them that much. Well, that's my one and only abandoned work in the books by T.Goodridge. Well, lovely upper part of Venice, but Venice Canal has very strange colors now. Again, I knew the rules. I tried to show all the shadows, reflections, but maybe I did too dark water. Maybe I had to use more light areas to show more sunshine reflections. Well, I don't know what is bothering me. Maybe too intense color of the water, but I remember that it was a big struggle, so now it looks much more presentable than in the beginning. That's shock water. Here I mostly concentrated all my efforts on the upper part. Again, I was inspired by the skies, by the trees from Kincaid landscapes, and then I did this water and it ruined everything. This one I also don't want to discuss. It's actually a book with biggest amount of pictures, which I don't like very much. Very stupid childish flowers. I played with my most vibrant pencils, so during coloring it was fun. The final look of it's crazy, stupid and not realistic. Buildings are great, but flowers killed the whole atmosphere. This one, well, I loved when I colored this part. I started to struggle with the tree. I think that also I selected too intense sky color. Now I would stay with much paler color like sky blue light. And of course when I started to mask excessive lines here, when I started to color this tiny waterfall, plenty of black lines on the lilies, I think that, well, it looks flat, it doesn't have perspective at all, and I don't like those flowers simply because they were very roughly painted by Teresa with two thick lines, and I didn't manage to turn them into something more realistic. They still look flat and not very nicely depicted. Well, I don't know why this book gave me so many difficult times. Here everything was difficult. Of course, this tree I decided to turn into oleander tree with their vibrant pink colors. Then somehow I had to color all those Greek white buildings to keep them white but still to show some shadows. Well, I can't say that I succeeded. So it's not bad, but definitely it was difficult. I didn't feel relaxed when I colored it, so that's what I can say. You can see my continuous experiments with water. Again, I do love the foreground, not much the lake. This one was fun. I think that I used here some cheaper pencils, maybe colors, well, something definitely not Prismacolors, and I tested its earthy cream brown colors to imitate sand and the light color which we need for the Sphinx. Well, not bad, but why such a thick lines again here and here and here? That's what stopped me from coloring in this book more frequently. I think that next I would love to do such cities. Very interesting composition. Well, that's a nice one. I love how I did this upper part of the landscape, and definitely the red train. It's a very nice focal point here. Lovely autumn page. This one is also very nice, but all this water, it will require a lot of thinking how to show all these reflections. It reminds me about Italian, maybe Garda, maybe Como. Well, I need to look at some reference pictures. That's definitely another beautiful Dutch countryside. Lovely pictures, what can I say? It also reminds me about Italian cities. Well, next we have Home Sweet Home. I don't know why I don't color more frequently such thematic rooms. I prefer outside landscapes. Maybe this one also. I colored something with polychromos, maybe even this one. It was so many years ago that I forgot. I remember that it was kind of experimenting, or maybe I partly colored it. No, that's definitely Prismacolors. Oh well, absolutely not important. I love this one because I think that it was for the first time when I colored very decent metal surface with all the proper highlights and reflections, and I also love how I color this milk and oil. Thanks to this Home Sweet Home and the next book Kitchen, I already experimented with so many colors for them. Furniture, I have wood, I have blue wood, I did greenish wood, reddish wood. Here I love how I colored velvet as a cover for the furniture. Another evening atmosphere. You can notice that I love to create as peaceful, romantic evening scenes. Again, interesting. It was interesting for me to try different color combos for slightly reddish wood, and that's probably the most classical, which you build from peach beige, light amber colors, and this one is more with chestnut. Still another uncolored cupboard. Well, sometimes I can't say that I'm totally happy with all my color choices. Sometimes I would say that one of the elements is out of place, out of palette, but for me, it's normal if I usually can analyze what is bothering me, and that's prevent me from repeating my mistakes. And finally, that's the last one which I own, and that's Country Kitchen Charm. Maybe one day there will be a miracle and I will finish it. We will start from the least favorite page in the book. Again, I wanted to do it 1 year for my birthday, and I think that I ruined it with this slightly stupid garland. It was available on the page, so I wasn't able to mask it, but those flags, I didn't color them normally. They don't look realistic, and especially with all the folds of the tablecloth beneath. So difficult, and balloons also look stupid. But the rest of the pictures I love much more. Of course, in this book I try to experiment with interior kitchen designs, both with the color of the walls, colors of the furniture. This one is completed. I think that it's kind of cafe, probably. Another one where I mostly enjoyed coloring this upper part with copper kitchen utensils. And this part also was interesting. Something from French kitchen. In this book I even colored such collages because I love to color sweets, and because I can do part of the work with markers and at least not to bother myself with the background problem. Here I wanted to create some more original background, so I was inspired by Portuguese tiles, you know, that azulejo, but of course I didn't manage to repeat any of their unique palettes, and maybe color is a little bit too intense, but still it was fun. I love this one because I do love, again, unusual color for the tiles and how it created good contrast to the things which we have on the shelves. So I have blue kitchen, pink kitchen, green kitchen. And you can see that a lot of different colors for the wood. This one I also did with markers for quick background, and then Prismacolors for the main work. This one probably is the least favorite, so if I manage to do all pictures in this book, this will be the last one. And with this page, which I love, which it was very interesting to color, because it's very interesting group of things on the shelves, different tableware with china, with some terracotta things, with some jars with yummy things inside, and plenty of metal things which I love to color in this bottle. So with this one, we are saying goodbye to T.Goodridge finished pictures, but I'm sure that in the next months I will color something new. So we will meet in December and we will check what else I managed to add to this collection, how many new pictures I will manage to color. I can definitely recommend these books if you love such style, if you love to work with pencils, but it's also possible to work with a little bit of watercolor, with small amount of water, with ink tents, with markers for the first layer. So these books are lovely, they have a reasonable price. You can select which theme is more interesting for you, and I hope that she will continue to produce more books, because they definitely are one of my favorites. Thank you for watching, and until my next videos.